Hey guys, welcome back to OMS TV. Today we are going to cover Canon's massive gear announcement that literally just happened right now.
Yeah, and we're lucky enough to actually have some samples with us. The brand new Canon 850D and something new in the RF lenses, the 24-105. They also announced the selfie range printer, QX10.
Yeah, that's very exciting. And then the really probably big news of the whole batch, they've announced the development of the EOS R5 and an RF 100-500, and we're going to cover all of that for you. So let's get to it.
First up, let's check the RF lens.
Yeah.
So, as we said, it's a 24-105. Something kind of interesting about this lens is the aperture, right?
Yeah, the aperture was a little bit of a shock actually. So it is an f4 to 7.1 variable aperture.
Yeah, it's probably the first time I've kind of heard of an aperture of that range.
Yeah, to an extent I get why they've done it. It forces the lens to be smaller, lighter.
Super light.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and more affordable than
Yeah.
equivalents.
And I think that's what they're aiming for. They want the affordable light range for their mirrorless models.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we'll probably see this lens be a kit option on the EOS RP. That's kind of
Yeah.
where they've aimed it. And that's great because that brings the price of that entire kit lower down and enables more people to climb into Canon's full-frame mirrorless.
Especially if you want to go full frame, now a more affordable option.
Absolutely.
And then another feature that I kind of do like is, even though they've removed the control ring that we've seen on the RF lenses, you do have the option of still switching the focus to control, and that enables you to then put your aperture there if you needed it.
Yeah, that's a very nice thing because even though they're bringing the price down, they don't necessarily remove functionality.
features,
Yeah,
exactly,
and
yeah.
I really like that. So I think this could be a very nice little kit lens to have, especially if you've been struggling getting into that, EOS R lineup.
Yeah.
If the price has been a little bit prohibitive, this is a good option to look at. So the other unit we have here to look at is the all-new Canon EOS 850D. Now, Canon has positioned this as a replacement for both the 800D and the 77D, and you can definitely feel that when you look at it.
Exactly, and also when you actually look at the specs, you can definitely see that as well. I mean, we've got 24 megapixels, 7 frames per second, and 45 autofocus points, quite similar to the 77D. The other great thing I like of this is that they take all the features and functionality and buttons of the 77D and kind of put it into the size and body of an 800D. Nice and small, but semi-professional dials, 2-function controls, which is amazing. You've got your shortcuts here at the top. So great move on Canon for that one.
Yeah, we also see that they're introducing a lot of that sort of hybrid technology that we keep talking about.
Yeah.
Sort of bringing features over from mirrorless cameras into DSLRs. So you have eye tracking, autofocus, you have face tracking, continuous, when you're shooting with the mirror up, all of that good stuff is in here. And it's great to see Canon actually putting a bit of effort into DSLRs, showing a bit of love, and just kind of giving that idea that DSLR is not dead and that they are still catering to that market, because it is a big market out there.
Exactly, yeah.
Then in terms of video, we have full HD 60 frames a second with lovely dual pixel autofocus. We also shoot 4K at 24 or 25 frames per second, but unfortunately the 4K does not get the dual pixel autofocus.
Yeah.
You have to use the contrast detect, which is unfortunate, and also the 4K is cropped, which, yeah, I mean, we keep seeing this from Canon, and I get it, it is a more entry-level camera, but it would be nice to see uncropped 4K.
Yes.
That really is what we need to look at here.
Also, in terms of video, you do have digital stabilization, no IBIS.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like something that we'll see in DSLRs, I'm not sure.
No, I don't think it's really something that's going to happen that much. I think Pentax does it, if I remember correctly, and they're pretty much the only guys out there that that really do it. But nevertheless, an interesting release, and I think it'll do well for them.
I think it's actually quite a positive camera. I mean, I really do like it, and the touch and feel of it is perfect.
Absolutely, and yeah, we're going to be shooting with that a little bit and see how we like it. Okay, now that we've covered what's actually been announced, let's dive into some of the juicy stuff.
Yeah, some big news today, actually.
Absolutely. So Canon made a development announcement. And basically they've come out and stated that they are developing a Canon EOS R5, a 100-500 millimeter RF lens, and then 2 extenders, a 2x and a 1.4x extender. But let's kick it off with the EOS R5.
Yeah, so what we officially know from Canon is that it's going to be 12 frames per second mechanical, and then also 20 in electronic mode. Now, hopefully it will be focusing in the 20 frames per second.
I'm sure it will, but
Continuously.
Yeah, let's hold thumbs for that. Yeah.
And then also other great news, it's got IBIS. So
Finally.
We called it in our previous video.
Absolutely.
Finally, we've got some proper IBIS in the Canon mirrorless stuff.
Yeah.
Excited for that.
Yeah, and they did sort of mention that it will work with RF lenses that have stabilizers in.
Yeah.
So that could be very interesting. We could see something similar to what the likes of Olympus does, where the two systems work together and give you a bit of a boost. That could be really, really exciting.
Your body stabilizers and the lens, so that will give you great stabilization.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. But the big one.
The biggest one.
The biggest one ever is that they have come out and said that the EOS R5 will have 8K video recording.
8K video.
Yeah. Geez, it's massive. It's huge.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
It's the first one in that sort of range.
Yeah, nobody else does it. I mean, we don't even have anything doing 8K from like Blackmagic in that kind of bracket. So that's huge. That's a big jump for Canon.
Yeah.
It sort of seems like even a year ago, Canon was still struggling a bit with 4K, and now, bam, all of a sudden, 8K. That's massive. Now, we don't know any specific details yet about the 8K, but the press release does say that you'll be able to shoot wide 8K.
Okay. Hopefully that means the full sensor.
I really hope so. I really hope so, but it does kind of sound that way from the press release. It also might give us a hint of the megapixel count of the camera. Because if you are shooting wide 8K, then if my math is right, it has to be over 40 megapixels. But all of that is unconfirmed, so we don't really know exactly what that's going to be, but it is massively exciting.
So what we have is a camera with IBIS, high speed, and 8K video.
Yeah.
What more do you need?
That really could be every camera
for big release for Canon this year.
Huge, absolutely massive, and I cannot wait to get one of those in hand. So yeah, Canon, please send me one, just one.
So another development announcement was the lens. It was the 100 to 500L IS f4.5 to 7.1.
Yeah.
Which is kind of, again, an interesting aperture. I guess, again, they want to try and make the lenses lighter and smaller.
Absolutely. It could also be an indication that it might come in at a better price point.
Which is also a good thing.
Yeah, but it's very interesting to go 100 to 500. Not a focal range that we've seen from Canon before.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and you kind of get the idea that they want to put a little bit of competition into that realm where Sigma and Tamron play, you know, with their 150 to 600s and that. And this could very well be the lens to do it for them. What stood out for me was that they did state that that lens will be compatible with both the 1.4 and the 2x converter.
And the 2x, so that gives you 1,000 more lanes, which is...
That's massive.
That's crazy. Yeah.
That's huge. And if it's nice and small and compact, that could be pretty epic.
It's going to be a winner.
It could be pretty epic. Well, guys, that's it from us. Thank you very much for joining us for this first look and development announcement from Canon. We are super excited about the developments that Canon have announced. If you are as well, please drop us a comment down below. We love hearing from you guys.
And then also, we'll be heading out today doing a full review for you guys on the Canon 1DX Mark III, which we are quite excited about. If you are too, consider subscribing.
Thanks, guys. That's it from us. Cheers.